the way it is. Exactly. And so that gives power to a lot of things, even in the fandom.
Yes.
So that when people assemble in the fandom, they can communicate fluently in their own native language.
But then I doubt if Cameroonians could understand, if many Cameroonians were able to understand the importance of such, treasure that we have as our languages, because you will be surprised, Mr. Yengong, that there are some Cameroonians who are, shy, afraid, suffering from inferiority complex when it comes to their language. They feel a type when you speak your languages as if you are outdated, or as if you are, some people, they don't feel free, they don't feel comfortable when they have to communicate in their language. Wherever I see a Banso man, I don't know, I can't speak again in English because I don't know the kind of English I can speak with Banso man, because I don't know whether my name is opinion.
Yes, thank you very much. I think that is paramount, and it stems from parenting. Because the fact that you are married from a different tribe should not stop your children from speaking any of the language.
Exactly.
And so with this now, this is holidays. I'm sure a time like this now is a moment for parents to gather their children, go for cultural festivals, attend meetings with them, so where their language is being communicated, so that at that now the children can be exposed, know some cultural norms, their traditional beliefs.
Okay, so, Mr. Yengong, you are already letting the back out of it, the cat out of the bag, because we are really actually talking about a holiday period. That would be our topic for today. But let's welcome Madame Adelaide Ngum. She's of the PSRN. Would have been ladies before gentlemen. Now we have the lone lady before gentlemen. But I hope that our viewers, the ladies who are watching us out there, will forgive us that we are welcoming Madame after we must have welcomed these two gentlemen. Madame, good afternoon, and thank you for being there once more.
Good afternoon, Dinashos. It's a pleasure to be in your studio as usual.
Yes.
We thank God for another day.
Exactly.
Those who celebrate Pentecost. Happy Pentecost to everybody. Happy Sunday to my comrades in the CPNR party of Cabral Libi. I wish them a wonderful Sunday. A wonderful Sunday to my family, my husband, my sons. A happy Sunday to my siblings. A happy Sunday to my fellow Cameroonian, my own countrymen out there. It's a pleasure to be here and to discuss things pertaining our country and the well-being of every citizen.
Thank you so much.
Since we are talking about the mother tongue.
Yes. Thank you.
Matong tnuhu kumrangum muru alabefu me gabeo me ngwayem ngoyemek. You should know that the cultural diversity is there.
Yes.
Being a daughter from the grass field, precisely from Bafut, married to a son of the forest, precisely from the Nyong Ikili. So there is need that we should learn how to speak the mother tongue. Right. In fact, yesterday I went to collect my son's report cards, and I discovered that he performed so poorly in
culture,
mother tongue.
Yes. National language and culture.
National languages and culture.
Yes.
And I said, okay, thank God they have gone on holiday. At least they will come back with at least some 5% of Basa. And if it goes on till about 5 years, they will be able to express themselves. There is the need.
Yes.
I am of those that there is no pride in speaking another person's language when you don't master your own language. Your language is a gateway to your culture, to your roots. There is a way that you talk to your father, to your ancestors, and the people that are lying beneath the ground, they don't know that English. There is a way that you talk to them, and
you communicate with them
until
directly.
You're connected to the roots. There is no way you can flourish up. So it's a good thing that we speak our mother tongue. I can manage Bafut and Basa.
Thank you so much. You are blessed that you are able to manage it. And like we rightly indicated, ladies and gentlemen, you would have noticed that we are talking about issues concerning children, like Madame Gumo was indicating. And the upbringing, it is the moment of the long vacation in Cameroon, a period in which children are out of formal education for close to 3 months or even more for others. And given that education is structured in 2 phases, we have the formal and the informal education. The formal takes place for 9 months within, where teachers incorporate into children the art of reading and writing, while the latter is expected to take place within the family circles, as the education of the children involves teachers, parents, and the society. We are talking about the informal education. Now, we are on holidays. Madam indicated that she collected her child's report cards yesterday. For some, it would have been around 2-3 weeks that children are at home. And practically, I think this should be the last week that children are at home since they're in school, since they're already in official exams. But the question that I wanted to begin with, Madam, since she is still there, she's a mother, and she's the lone female on set. We'll begin with her. Or maybe you answered that question. Madam, what do you intend to do with your children? We are in break.
Well, I'm already executing what I had to do with them.
Yes.
They went on holiday. They went to Ezeka. They are with their grandmother. And the intention is like to bring the children out of an environment all done for them. So an environment where they will have to see life in a different way. We equally have the aspect of the mother tongue. We equally wanted the children to be closer to their roots, to their relatives, and to learn how to speak the mother tongue. We equally wanted our kids, since we do not have farms here, we equally wanted our kids to get acquainted to what it means to go to the farm. How does the farm look like? How does this
crop get scraped by grass, took up by all those things?
Immediately, their grandmother was ready to take them. They left. And they are doing great there. And I think that it is a period, it depends on each parent. Not every parent will have the opportunity to send a child to the grandmother. Some of them,
perhaps someone.
Some of them are of late. But I want to say that the holiday is a period to occupy the children. It is not a period, a laissez-faire period. It is not a period where they do whatever thing they do. It's a period where you actually train the child that apart from the pen, there are so many other things the child can do. You will notice with me that the way the curriculums are tailored, it is difficult for children to do other things while they are going to school. But I think just when we were growing up, we have this needing for girls. When holidays is coming, we may not even go for holidays, but our mother will buy this thread and the needles, and before the end, she tells you that, okay, I want to have a skirt at the end of it, and we are there. When we finish our chores, we are sitting and we are doing something. At the end, she evaluates what we are doing. So it is important that children get busy during the holiday, because it's a period where there are so many traps outside. You remember that an idle mind is the devil's workshop.
Yes.
We frown at those parents who send their children very early to hawk in the streets. It's not a good thing. We see them 5 years, 2 years to hawk Maggie cubes, to hawk water. It is not a good thing. It's very dangerous. It is very dangerous to the children, and specifically in our party, we are against child labor. Childhood is a time where the child has to learn skills. I bet you, even if you are on rent, just look for a particular area in your house where you buy a small paint and tell your little boy to learn how to paint that place. If it is not okay, let him do it over and over again. You look for small plywood, try to make a chair. That is when we learn those skills. Because it's unfortunate that the generation now is oriented just consuming whatever thing that comes from the phone. You find yourself a child at 22 years, he cannot do anything for himself. He cannot patch, he cannot repair the light, he cannot. Those are the time that you send those children to those workshops. For those who can afford, you send those children to those paintings, to writing. I usually tell my children that, okay, as we are here, as you're enjoying the holiday, I want that at the end of every week, just write what went on. Given that I'm a teacher, try to write what the activities that you were involved in. You keep the child on track. It is a time that the parents who have the money should take them out for visiting places. We should not be prone to going out quickly to Canada without discovering our country. For parents who are well off, it is important that they carry their children. We have 3 months holiday. They can organize that each month we discover one area. And let me tell you, when you discover places, it broadens the mind of the child. It opens the mind of the child. Just here in Douala, there are so many of them who don't know how it operates there in the brewery industry, who don't know, those who carry this merch on, they don't know how it is done. You must not go out of the town, but you take the children to an environment where they actually see it. It creates in them. It can awaken a talent that
can
was
ignite in that child
exactly
a particular liking for something.
A particular liking of something. For example, if a child has always been seeing you or only on TV, your son, for example, you take him there. Okay, today you see how it goes here, and at the end, how do you feel about it? What do you think? It is equally a time to take delinquent children to prisons.
Okay.
To prisons to make.
What's
them
the purpose
visit,
of taking them to prison?
You know, writers say that you learn why, as you see the negative consequences. If you have a difficult child who does not want to listen, it's better you carry the child to where the consequences have actually happened, so that they see and feel what it takes. Because while in the comforts of their home, they just know that apart from you, no one else. So I think that it's a place where you take them to prisons to visit those people, to actually have a tour, if it is possible, to go to disintoxication center, to actually see what those who have been prone to drugs taking, they are going through. And it will help in one way. You will not say a word, but the visit will
have an impact on the child's life.
Impact on the child's life. So it's a period for parents to draw closer to their children.
Okay.
Because I want to talk especially for those who are in the dormitory schools. It is a period to draw closer to your child, to learn to know your child. As your child is coming back from dormitory school, don't send her to another person. You may raise an adult without knowing them. Yes,
a stranger.
So a stranger. So when they come back, that's a time where you draw closer to them, you study them, you look at the little things that they do around for the moment that they are. I think if we do that, and at the end, we will have enjoyed the holidays.
Okay. When Madame Adelaide Ngum was speaking, she speaks as a teacher, and at one point she was speaking like a parent. I wanted to take another parent, Mr. Yengong, Leonard, as a parent. When you listen to Madame Ngum speaking, yes, that's a parent who is living in a city. There are so many of us here in town. That's why I said I may be one of the parents. Have been asking myself, what should I do with my children? Because in those good period, those good days, immediately they were going on holidays, they are going to the village. Now it would appear that we may not have a village where you can send them as comfortable as they used to be. Because if you cannot go to the village freely, you can't expect to send your child and feel free that they are there. Now I wanted to find out from a situation, we are here in an economic capital like Douala, and you know how busy the daily life of a parent is in Douala. I wanted to find out from you, Mr. Yengong, what are the most effective ways to keep children engaged, in learning during school holiday period, during this period? To have the children engaged. You don't want to leave them free, but you want to let them have something, like Madam was indicating. As a parent, let's leave the reality in town. We are in town.
Thank you very much, sir. Just to say that it is really sad that we can't have the pleasure of our village, or we cannot have the comfort of sending our children to the village, which was a forum where you go and you know some of your relatives that we are in town, because when school closed, we all gather with our grandparents.
Yes.
But now here we are in Douala, as challenging as we know how getting to the village is. Activities are going on in Douala. We know that these children are from school, and their minds are crowded with a lot of studies, book here, book there, and when they come back, some of the parents, they are still laying on them burdens again of studies, holiday classes left and right.
Exactly.
And here we are in town. We have a lot of companies around, breweries, like Madame rightly said. And we also have the aspect of arts and culture. Why not engage these children in learning any of the musical instrument?
Like the saxophone, I know that you are fond of.
Like the piano.
Yes.
There are a lot of fields, and there are some of these instruments available in Cameroon, and we lack players.
Okay.
And so a time like this, and at their tender age, it's a good time that they can grasp some of these items and play well. And you know what? A lot of people know me as a saxophonist. That's just my testimony. But they don't know what I do as a profession. Why? Because that talent is there. And so some of these children, they have talents that parents also needs to identify. Get them in those areas where they are most interested and send them to that field. And when they get there, they will be able to develop their talent by themselves while learning from the master. There are brewery industries in Cameroon. There are a lot of gyms in Cameroon. There are sporting activities that are going on. I'm sure that if without sending them to the market site, which is we know the exposure that is there.
Exactly.
There is nothing to follow up. I'm not saying that we should let these children loose in effect, but let there be that monitoring. But they should have a feel different from what they have been studying in school. I'm sure with this we can be able to follow them up. It may not necessarily be that formal education. You may have somebody in the quarter that know one or two things, skills that can be transformed to these children. But make sure that these children also have accounts to render at the end of the day, because you may have to pay for the person that is training them. When they come back home, what did you learn today? Can you reproduce this? Can you do that? Let there be that handwork nature. Let's divest from a formal education and go to something that a child can reproduce, so that we can really see visibly. Thank you very much. I think that with this now, the parents also have work, not to let the children loose, but to monitor them, to do something different from the formal education that they had in school.
Yes, but I'm still afraid that we are talking about concepts. This is still what parents should do. But the reality on the ground, imagine that woman who is living in Kuwait, in Bois de Singe, that woman who is living in village, the other end, the Passé Trois, that woman who is living in Mbanga Pongo, very early in the morning, she's already going to Sandaga. And she may be coming back maybe at 8 p.m. When would she be having that time to take care of these children who are already at home? Is it possible for that woman to come to this other activities, like taking the child to learn maybe an instrument, a musical instrument, taking a child for sightseeing, like Madam was saying? I wanted to take Mr. Gabriel, you are at the same time a teacher. Now, what would that woman who is out there, who must go out in the morning and come back in the evening, is hardly not there? You see that the children are left at the mercy of the screen at home.
Exactly. Thank you, Mr. Venatios. It's really unfortunate that we have a society where most children see their parents only on picture.
Yes.
That's the nature of our town, because we know Douala is busy.
You hear that Papa is back when you're already sleeping, and you get Papa going out in the morning.
It's really unfortunate. There are some children in some homes that when they want to see their parents, they just rush to the parlor
and look at the father on the
picture.
wall.
Yes, say that, and then they feel comforted.
Yes, we are laughing, but that's a reality.
No, it's really bad.
People are living that.
It's really bad. You made mention of the screen. I want to start from there. There's one we call screen time.
That's what I wanted to find out. How much of this screen time is appropriate for children during this period?
The amount of time invested on screen devices like telephones, computers, gaming consoles that children go to get entertained.
Yes.
I mean, at game stations or Xboxes and all of those things. Those things have a lot of things to do in our society today. This is holidays. Remember, we are talking about holidays. It's not bad. It's actually good, because after you work, you have to rest, so that your mind will come back to its initial state before you continue again. But prolonged vacations have a lot of problems. When you allow your children at the mercy of the screen, there are a lot of things that happen. I mean, cognitively.
What do you mean by prolonged vacation?
For example, we have them without
3 months, getting to 4 months.
Yes. Without schools, many children will be left alone.
So according to you, that's too much?
It's too much.
Okay.
It's too much, but we cannot actually say let's cancel it because it has been going for years.
No,
And so
it's too much. We can begin from somewhere. Maybe the minister is listening now to learn that.
So
I wanted you to explain what should be done. Maybe you would
there are always,
the minister.
there are always many strategies
Yes.
to combat things that come up like this. Yes, we have already developed a lot of strategies. Even if they increase it to 4 months, we still have strategies to combat that. Yes, because we just allow, but it's actually going to be limping because we have parents who are not really able to meet up with the terms. There are some parents who cannot afford for holiday classes. There are some parents who cannot afford for, helping their children learn an art. We also equally talked about. My brother here is a saxophonist. He might have a music school. We have other people who run mother tongue classes. Madam Gum talked about the dialect.
The dialect.
I don't want to call it dialect because I don't really consider
mother tongue. All right. Yes, I think many people are against this idea of dialect.
I don't consider personally.
Yes.
I don't consider my language a dialect.
Yes.
Exactly.
So what's different between that and English? They are the same languages.
Yes,
with
I wear my language on the same platform, the same scale
with
like English language.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I can read it, I can write it,
Just like you
and
can read and write English language.
Perfect. And I encourage anybody who has a language to also uphold it like that.
Thank you,
You
my
cannot
brother.
belittle your language and then you call it a dialect. I
Thank
think
you.
a dialect is what is developing from a language.
It's derived
Yes.
from a language.
So my language is not developing from another one.
Correct.
Why should I call it a dialect? So at this point, Mr. Venatius, I would like to encourage all the parents to be very careful first of all, because this third term vacation comes with a lot of advantages and disadvantages. It becomes very advantageous if we are reasonable enough to manage it well, and it becomes so disadvantageous if we become so doomed to allow our children go loose because they will be kept at the mercy of what we call stranger danger. First of all,
Pardon?
stranger danger.
Okay.
Yes, at this point you have children. It's unfortunate. You go to Machendo Pasi, you go to the Central Market, you go to Mokolo Market in Yaoundé, and you go to the Pamenda Market, you see a lot of children hawking on the streets. I've done that before.
Very soon granules will be out.
Yes, they're already out. And
Okay.
plums and all of that. I've done that before, and I know the challenges I went through in Bamenda while hawking during the crisis period when the crisis was still very young. So it's actually very challenging. You see children who are supposed to be learning an art or another with beignet on their heads,
Corn,
low
plums.
class moving around the streets, exposed. I mean, at the mercy of what I just called the stranger danger kind of thing. Because you have a lot of people in town. Dubai is a metropolitan city. A lot of people who are even foreigners, they come here. A lot of people coming with different missions. They just want to kidnap. They want to touch you, and then some of your very precious body parts will disappear.
Well, that's still to be verified.
Yes, it's still to be verified anyway.
Yes.
We've been hearing all of those kind of
Exactly.
things. So we have to keep our children safe. And how do we keep them safe? We talked about the screen timing.
Yes.
Yes, I want to go back there. There are things you have to do to make sure you transform this, which is fast becoming a blight, to a blessing. And how can you do it? You cannot automatically erase the television.
Exactly.
It's practically impossible at this age. You cannot erase the telephone. You cannot erase gaming.
Yes.
Because these things are necessary for information. They are necessary for communication. They are necessary for entertainment, respectively. So if we say we are talking against the television, the telephone, and the games, it means we are actually emphasizing on that, which is not good. But we can actually curb the way our children do this. They have the right to be informed. But we, the parents and the teachers and the mentors, we have a duty to control the level at which they manipulate these things. If not, your children will have a lot of problems. I started talking about mental problems. Yes, I started talking about you have a lot of physical challenges and emotional challenges. They will go into a kind of odd behavioral pattern, which I would like to call sedentary behavior. Because when you spend 60% of your time, as most people go on screen devices, you don't have time you kill that social spirit. Yeah, that social development is slowed. Your ability to communicate with others fluently becomes impaired, let me put it that way, because you spend time on the screen, you spend time on the television, and the question now is, when you're on the television, what type of channels are you navigating? So those things should be censored, they should be controlled by parents. You should set limits as children are on holidays. Don't just be happy that your children are on holidays. You get up and go to the market, you say you are hustling, you come back late. You don't care about what. Do you know what those children do when you are out?
Exactly.
You're out for the whole day. If it becomes difficult, employ the services of somebody who can actually care for those children at home.
Since you are looking for money outside.
Of course.
Yes.
You're looking for money, so employ the services of somebody. Because I don't think you can look for money to the extent, to the detriment of your children.
Saying that you're looking for money for the children.
Yes.
Yet you don't want to care about what becomes
It's not
of
proper,
them.
and that is why we have already delinquent children. When I say delinquent children now, I I remember what Madame Gum said about delinquent children. When she started saying that they should be taken to prison yards, I was scared.
So that they should see. Yes.
No, I was scared first of all.
Okay. Yes.
I did not understand. I thought maybe she was saying that they should be in
No,
prison.
so that they should go and see what others are living, to know that if I do this,
Yes.
I'll end up this way. I think so, madam.
Exactly. I understood that after, which is a very good point. That is why we have a lot of delinquent children today. And times I'm tempted to say we don't just have wild animals. Contemporarily, we already have wild children. I don't know if it's actually appropriate to call children wild children, but some children are actually wild because they lack home training. That family spirit is not in them.
But they're living with their parents.
They are living with their parents, but the parents themselves, they
cohabitating with their parents.
yes,
They are not living.
Okay. They are.
They are cohabitating with
Okay,
their parents.
thank you. I think that's the best term to describe that. They are
Yes.
cohabitating with their parents.
Yes.
That devotional life of the family is limping. Gone are those days. Though some families are still practicing that. Let's even keep Christianity and going to church aside. Let's just consider that nothing is happening like that. I mean, in quotes. As a normal human being, when you come back home every day, you're supposed to gather your family. And you people discuss. You tell your children the do's and the don'ts of life. What are you supposed to do when you meet somebody you don't know? What are you supposed to do when you encounter a difficulty? You as a father, you are old enough to tell your children the experiences you have gone through in life. You as a mother, you are old enough to tell your children the experiences you have been through in life.
Your
and
failures.
to tell them how they can combat those things when they come across. But how can you tell them when you don't give them that space to discuss with them?
All right.
So every evening is very important to come and meet them, and then you discuss. So Mr. Venatius, all of these prolonged vacations, I'm not against that, but we have to understand that it disrupts learning routines. When children are in school, there is a regular curriculum they have to follow, and the teachers too are working on that. So when they come on vacation like this, learning
Like they are late.
learning routines are disrupted.
Okay.
It leads to loss of momentum. You gather a lot of things in your head. But during this period, you just go relaxed. It leads to recession of skills. A lot of things that children have learned, it's like they're instead marching backward, and
All right.
it's disastrous.
Thank you.
So I will encourage the parents, especially we started talking about the issue of language and mother tongue. Please, we all have a language we speak before the English language. Trace your roots and know your language. And if your children cannot speak, if you cannot speak, please make an effort
There's
to
something
send
wrong.
your children. Yeah, there's a problem. Make an effort to send your children to where they can learn. Personally, I have a place where I can send somebody who is from my place. So Yaoundé, there's a language center there run by a brother, Tom Eric. You send the children there, they will go and learn how to read and write
Oku.
the Oku language.
Exactly.
It's coded,
All right.
and it's just normal like that.
Thank you. I think here in Douala, the Sawa people have been doing something like that too. During holidays, they bring their children and they teach them the language, the culture, how to dress up, how to speak, how to read their language. This is something that we need to encourage too. And there is one thing that we're indicating. I don't think that whichever language you speak, that I can feel threatened because I speak my Lamso, because if you are afraid of your language, you cease to exist. Madam Gumbeda will come back about this issue of holiday classes. I was surprising. I got up yesterday and my daughter was showing, one flyer to me that Papa is our neighbor who brought it, and they are distributing in a quarter that they are already organizing holiday classes. Madam Gum, I wanted to find out from you as a teacher, should we say that this holiday period, is there any value for it if during holidays our children get into holiday classes again and teach? What I wanted to find out is, should the period be used for relaxation, or should it still be used for educational activities? Because the pedagogues will tell you this is a period for break. How should we use this break? Is it for catch-up classes? No, children, my child was number 3. No, he was supposed to be the first. My child had an average of 40. He was supposed to have 18. So during this holiday, you go for holiday classes. You go in the morning and you come back at 1, 2. How should we use this period for holiday classes or for any other activities as a teacher?
I want to say that those who do that, they train intelligent robots.
Okay.
At the end of the day, somebody can master the rules, he recites them, but the essence of the human being is out of him. That apart from the books, he does not know anything. We have to know that when God created man, there was no education.
There was no.
There was no formal class where we sat to
learn.
study, to learn. The man existed, and he had his own way of acquiring or learning things about his environment. For me, it is too wrong that we have not even stepped into the holiday.
2 weeks.
We have not even stepped into the holiday.
Yes,
and
there are sharing flyers already.
They are just pressurizing parents, and parents think that it's the best way to get rid of those children. They are in the house, they are not doing anything, they eat. If you had to spend
they destroy things.
If you had to spend 1,000 for breakfast,
and the risk of accidents too.
Yes,
Because
this time around you have to spend 2,000 francs for breakfast, and before it is 11 they have to eat. Before it's 3 they have to eat.
Yes.
And before it's 6 they eat. So it is really demanding. So when it comes up that they are giving it as a way to push the children away, they don't want to bear the burden of staying with the children. That is what parenting is all about. It's not a relaxation period. There is one day I told myself that I now understand why at a certain age parents are hypertensive, they have high blood pressure, because it is not a bed of roses. You have to be proactive. Before they are going for the 3rd term to go and school and write their exams, you should know what they'll be doing when they'll come back. The holidays should not surprise you. I understand that there are parents that cannot even afford for anything, but you can afford for something. If you are the type of parent that you get up early at 3 o'clock and you have to go to Sanaga, and you have already a girl of 12 years, it is important you take her along.
Sure.
Okay. You start taking her along. And if you were used to selling from 6 to about let me say 5 o'clock, you take her along so that you stop selling at about 12 o'clock. You share the shirts. She sells, you sells, and both of you will be able to make up some money before 2 o'clock. You go back to the house to attend to the younger ones.
Yes.
And if you imagine that they get up probably at 8 before they play, get breakfast, when you come back at 1, it is not too late to handle them. So it is true that we are living in a very tough society where if you don't work, I want to tell my co-panelists that it's unfortunate that some children have to see their parents through the pictures, or maybe you want to talk to Daddy, he came back at 11 p.m.
Yes.
You keep a message. When he comes back online, he reads, he answers, and it is very tough because people have to work extremely hard to survive in this country. If you are the lazy type, you will not be able to survive. So you have to toil. I even call it toiling, because the government has left everything into our hands. There are countries where the government take it into itself to organize interquarters, to organize programs in every neighborhood. It is true that in our local council here in Douala 3, they always organize activities for university students where you clean, and at the end you can have some
occupation jeune.
But we don't really see what happens between kindergarten, for the children in kindergarten to before those in the university. So what happens to those children? So I think that it is a need for government to start bringing up those strategies.
That's why I wanted to find out if there is anything that the community can do to support families in providing accessible activities.
I think that it is a period for communities that are organized. They actually bring out this program. They are volunteers, youths, bigger children who have gone to the university. They have acquired some skills. They come and they create small forums where they have entertaining mornings. You go there, you tell stories. Our children don't even know the stories of our country. You go there not to actually learn as if you are 1 + 1, 2, sit, turn to this page, no. But it's another form of African learning where we sit and we are told stories. We learn even some of the African way of living. It is difficult here because we are in a multicultural environment. But in environment back there in regions where we always have people from the same culture coming together, it becomes very easy. But I think that when we are in this type of in this urban environment or in the cities, that is where the government has to implement those things, bring those youths together, bring the children together, and learn one thing or the other. I want to say that there are equally schools that equally work in that light. Last year, my son was called here at Bonanjo to come and learn security measures as a child. He was selected in school because during the year they observe the child, they discover something about the child, and at the end they select some students, and if you went there this year, the next year another group will go. And I think
is it the particular school doing it, or is it council or government?
Unfortunately, it's a particular school.
Okay,
but those are initiatives that the council can equally take into consideration.
Fish out, identify.
Yes, we have this first aid that when things happen, children don't even know what to do. But you know, in other countries, at 5 years, there is a child who can do a quick first aid, can call a number, can do this. So it is important that the council should think about strategies that the children belong to the family, but it is the responsibility of the government to take care of those children, because the way you take care of your citizens when they are young will determine the type of society that you have when they eventually grow. So when they leave these children at the mercy of the poor, rich, moderate families, you see the inequality. As they grow, the inequality is there.
Yes, it's
but
maintained.
if a government wants that they should have the gap should be reduced, it puts in program that it will draw those people from the well-to-do and the underprivileged, they bring them together, and there is some sort of training together and equipping the children for their country. And another thing I want to say is, he talked about wild children. It is because people are living in frustration. Mr. Venetius, I've seen parents who tell their children that if somebody talks to you rudely, you slap.
An eye for an eye.
It is hard when you hear it, but that is actually what we witness in our society. People are living in frustration. And when there is frustration, you tend to blame the other. You think that it is these people who came from the northwest who are the trouble, who are causing trouble, that if they were not here, we'll enjoy all the benefits, we'll be living in peace. Not knowing that even in your family, you can never live in peace.
That's it.
As long as 2 or 3 people are together, at one point they are always misunderstanding. So it is time to actually call upon the parents to refrain from that attitude, because you don't know that the child that you're asking your son to slap or your daughter to fight with, you don't even know that after that fight maybe your son will be killed. That's why you hear children fighting and killings are happening every day, because in some homes parents don't tell their children shy away from trouble. If they say you spoke rudely to the madam, the parent will say, but what did the madam tell the child? Whereas when we were growing up, they don't want to know what happened. They start by correcting the wrong
appropriately.
Appropriately. So I think that the holiday is a period to, I talked about drawing closer to the children, but to discover the other talents, the hidden talents of the child. To discover, I tell you that this farming, you have gardening. You don't need money to do those things. You train the children, they go and carry the ground. They go and put it in buckets. They do this. Okay, you want to watch TV? Okay. When is your favorite program? They tell you. Okay. It starts at 3, right? Yes. Okay. For you to do it, I will inspect, and the best will have the remote control. You know, it's a period of fight on the remote control.
That's a fight that is
always. For those of us who have so many children, it's a period of fight on the remote control.
I was the one who had it first.
There is always somebody. Sometimes in my house, they take and hit.
Yes.
And they go to school.
Looking for it. You come back.
The day you are in the house, you will not watch TV until they come back.
Yes.
So when you do that, they will fight and do the thing. This one, I will tell them that the best will be have the remote control. They will be doing it. Another day, no, I have this idea. I want to have the remote control. I want this. So you can actually regulate that and spend time with the children. The children are growing wild because they spend time with the phone. They spend time with the social media. They are being taught in the social media. They have their coaches that are teaching them in the social media. God knows what they are teaching, but we know where we are coming from. Yes. So the more we spend valuable time with these children, for me, I'm a woman of politics. I tell them that, look, you are boys, I have 5 of them, I tell them that, look, I don't want you to be weaklings. If the society is going wrong, is because people actually sat and thought that another person will solve the problem. Yes. I want that you people should be problem solvers tomorrow, gentlemen tomorrow. And they'll tell me that, okay, transform into a man now and become but you bring them closer. Their father teach them the religious aspect. You have to be God-fearing, but I teach them what it takes to be out there to do whatever. In fact, that's my dream, that I would like that as they grow up, one should take over from you, and to even do better than what I'm doing, because I'm a woman, because I'm a mother, and whatever. So I think that we should not be afraid of holidays. Okay. No matter how long they are, we should plan. They are planned as we are planning for school reopening. That is how we plan for holidays. We plan for holidays, and we save money for holidays. It doesn't come like that. I understand that it is hard, but if we plan properly, if we have family members who are there to support us, they can even leave for your house to another cousin in the house, in the same town, to a good friend in the same town, just to change the environment and see how things happen. It helps. And when they come back, they feel that they missed you, and there is a bond that becomes closer. And I think it's a time equally to be very strict for those who have girl children.
That's where I wanted to take you when you talk about learn to know your children.
Yes.
My challenge was exactly girl
children. For those who have girl children, it's time to be very strict, very not very strict as if you are telling the child that, okay, I am on the door, you cannot pass. No, you are doing that distance controlling, studying what the child is doing, and taking care of your environment, because
knowing the friends of the children.
This is the moment where children are raped, children are impregnated,
and I will tell you that the raping may not come from outside,
from the neighborhood.
Exactly.
Not later than yesterday. In my neighborhood, they were solving a problem of a married man that's been hanging around a young girl. Okay. So those are things that when you have a girl child, you have to be very careful.
Yes.
You have to be very careful to occupy the child. If she is not busy, you should know where she is, with whom she is. And you're sure that the people with whom she is safe with those people. Because it's a matter of 30 minutes, a matter of 1 hour, and the child's life is damaged forever.
All right. So, let us take Mr. Njeba. I wanted to find out from you. They say all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. Exactly. How much of playing time should be allocated to these children during this holiday period? With holidays. Exactly. Yes. How free should they be?
Yeah, the how much time will all depends on the activities that are involved. What am I saying? The play time, like a football match, is 90 minutes. You not tell a child that you will play for 5. It will not go that until the climax of football is coming to us 90 minutes.
Yes.
And so the time of play is absolutely necessary. We cannot cancel that. You hear Mr. Gabriel is afraid. He was mentioning the challenges that come during holidays, and some of those challenges do come because of excessive play. And so now the time that will be allocated for such activity will all depends. The time allocated for play depends on the type of play. And so let me just mention something from where Madam Gum just ended. A time in a hospital, I analyzed a sample. And what I saw in that sample, I was like, this sample should be pertaining to somebody of around maybe from 45, 50 years. But I'm looking at the age where I have to issue result. I had to go out and call the name, and the patient came. When I saw the mother came with the child, I asked, this card belongs to who? They say this is they presented the child to me. I went back to the mother. I'm like, Mama, what happened? Can you tell me what happened to this child? And it shows that the child was raped in their own house.
Okay.
That is the scenario. Why? The child is not going out. You are inside the house. This is holidays period. The child is inside the house. You leave and you go and come back. Your child is being raped in your own house.
My God.
And you are not aware. So the playtime is absolutely necessary. And it should not be play without money. There should be somebody to monitor the play. if you have somebody, a trusted friend, like she said, you go and keep the child to them. Maybe it's the coach of their gym. You take the child to them. They know that from 3 to 4 they are doing boxing, judo. They are there with judo. Those who are interested in football, they go to football. But you know that this is the time. You time it because such activities, there's a master for it. Don't just allow children to go and play. Who is responsible for those children at that time that they are playing? There should be somebody there. In French they call it maître or whoever that is responsible for the club where they are playing. Is it the football club? You see now when you go to the field, maybe at Camptel, you see them with their jerseys.
Yes.
Parents will come and
To
lead them to
identify
the
them.
man that is responsible for that academy. Those that are playing, those that are jogging, when it is time, maybe a boss will come and carry them back to their home. The time for that activity is over. It's not a loose play that you just leave. Today, maybe you have 2 hours of play, you allow the children to be playing. How manage? It will bring a lot of it will be more devastating than what we have. But the activity, they are boxing, there is dancing, playing. Go to Camptel, you see a lot of them. Those that are jogging, they are doing vocal training. They have small groups. Some are good at dancing. The funniest thing in our community is that parents have failed to identify the talents in their children, and at the end now, most of them kill the talents that the children will have grown.
Or like impose on the children
Impose
what
on the
maybe
children.
the children do not feel it.
Exactly. Impose on children. Why? Because you are forcing the child to do something, but the child is good at a particular handwork. You are not interested in that handwork because you are just saying that no, this handwork has no place in the society. No, it's not like that. Let the child do something that he's satisfied with. But first of all, learn to appreciate what the children are doing. Because parents, they are the highest killers of talent. Sorry to say it, but it is very true.
That's
Because
the
at
reality.
times I look at my mother and say, what happened? But even though some of them acted out of ignorance, yes,
Some of them
they,
act out of fear.
That's why
Out of
that's
fear.
why we're using this platform
Yes.
to discuss this, to open up to parents to understand that what I went through, what you went through, your child or our children should not go through again.
Exactly.
Let us be able to open up and change the narrative so that we should be able to bring children who should adapt. With, because that is where I wanted to go to. With the time, the changing times, is no longer those period. I remember in our own period, this time like this, everybody in the morning we are going to the farm. You go to the farm and you come back
Why
late.
crying? You
Yes,
go- I mean,
whether you like it, it was not an option.
It's not an option.
You never had an option. Whether raining or what, we are going to the farm because very soon they start harvesting the beans. Very soon granules, corn, all those things. Transporting corn on the head. It's not today that they have.
He's having a bad head.
Correct my brother. Over kilometers. But now we have an option. What we have now, I don't think if I can tell my child now that we carry a bag of 50 kg of corn.
He will laugh at you.
We will not even think that this is human. We'll tell you that this is child abuse. Now, but the reality is, what should we do with our children to meet up with the changing times? Let our children grow up with the times, yet maintaining the values that we are supposed to have as children. That's why I wanted to take Mr. Gabriel. What should parents do so that the children can be able to meet up with the time? We are already living in a technology, in an advanced technology age. What should we do like parents so that we should not be living behind while the world is moving ahead?
Yes, Mr. Venatius, thank you very much. There is what we call a breach of differences. Yes, it has existed for long. Even in the Bible, I think it's like that. We also try to bridge the gap of differences between the old and the present, law and the grace. So you cannot say I should live just the way you lived as my father or as my mother, because we are not in the same age.
Exactly.
Yes, when you were living in your days, when they gave birth to you, were there telephone?
My brother.
Was there internet? Could you sit here and talk to somebody in the US, even in Yaoundé? You have to write a letter and go to the post office
And
post
deposit
it to
it
Yaoundé.
maybe after 2
And then wait
months
for-
before they
yes.
will ever get it.
But today it's not like that. I just need a simple text. Just drop an email and somebody receives it elsewhere. So we cannot tie our minds like that. We need to think out of the shell, and it's unfortunate that we have some parents that are actually very difficult to crack out of that shell. Yes, they have that stereotype. They don't want anything, like at times they even call it witchcraft. Yes, they don't believe in technology that much. They think it's witchcraft, but at the same time, they use cars to work. Forgetting that it's part of the technology. How is the car moving? Is somebody pushing it? Nobody is pushing it. But when you see your child advancing in technology and bringing some kind of innovative ideas, you term it witchcraft, you term it occultism. I think it's not good. We have to bridge that gap of differences. As parents who are watching at me now, please be tolerant enough. But understand that in every role there's an exception. Yes, be tolerant, but don't be too tolerant to a fault, because that will also lead to the downfall of your child. understand that we are evolving in technology, and your children need to evolve as well. There are a lot of new ideas that will be taught in school, and they have to implement in the house. And without your collaboration, it will be very difficult. It is going to be very difficult.
Mm-hmm.
Look at the world at large. A lot of things are happening. Great ideas from great innovators like people like Elon Musk. They are coming up with a lot of robots and all of things that are actually taking, should I say, the place of human beings. Anyway, we don't have to go deep to that, but at least we should give technology a chance. Let our children at least explore what they have been taught in school. Yes, when they bring it back to the house, don't just stem it witchcraft, or don't just shift it to one side. Try to understand, because there are some innate abilities our children have. As a teacher, I cannot actually put sense in a child's head. I believe that. I cannot give somebody sense. I'm not God.
That's what Plato says. A child is not a blank sheet of paper.
Those some people argue actually that they are actually blank.
Well, those are different strands of philosophy.
But personally, I don't believe that somebody is born blank.
Yes, there's no tabula rasa.
I grew up as a rearer. Yes, I grew up as a rearer, rearing goats. I experienced goats living. I experienced goats through their pregnancy. I experienced goats giving birth, and I experienced the little ones after birth, how they started reacting. Without
from the very first steps.
Yeah, so how can you say somebody is blank? If a goat is not blank after being delivered, then I a human being, am blank. It's impossible. I've experienced animals giving birth, and after birth, the newly delivered animals, they start acting and doing things, searching for breast and all of that. They are not blank, actually. So at least children are born with some innate abilities. I was saying that as a teacher, as a mentor, as a preceptor, I cannot give you sense. I can only tickle your mind to understand what God already gave to you. Yes. So parents, please don't be a hindrance to what we are tickling our children's minds to understand.
Schools.
Yes. Because when we identify their problem, what we call action research, we embark on identifying some innate abilities in the children. When we identify and tickle their minds to understand and grow with those things, some of you parents just scatter everything at home. You are a parent. You may be a driver. You may be a doctor. You may be an engineer or any other person. Allow me to do my job. I'm a teacher. I've been trained for that. I know how to. In fact, there's what we call intellectual midwifery.
Exactly.
Yeah, a midwife helps deliver people.
Yes.
So if I'm trained to deliver knowledge out of people, allow me to do my job. And I've always been saying this, and I'll keep saying it. This learning is a collective effort, and there are three key parties involved. We have the children themselves. You can take a horse to the stream, but you can't force it to drink water.
Yes.
The child who refuses to learn, despite what you do, you end up calling that child Obanje, I quote. So the child is involved, the teacher is involved, the parent is involved, and we must bring our efforts together to see how we will collectively push these children to a perfect side tomorrow. Some of us are just unfortunate that we grew up in a kind of society where, in fact, these things were not actually brought to book. But now, with advancement in technology and teaching, learning, and all of these things, we want to guide the uprising generation so that tomorrow we'll have a better posterity. Yes, we tickle their minds to understand what God gave them already.
Yes.
If God made you understand how to make an airplane, I just need to tickle your mind to understand how you make it. I'm not the one teaching you how to. That's what I believe.
Exactly.
Because I don't have the power.
You
actually, yes.
You have that innate.
Good.
Yes. All right, thank you. I was laughing at it because it was surprising that my daughter took my phone, my own very phone, and was teaching me what to use my phone. And I was laughing. I saying, this phone, there are these things in this phone I did not know how to use it. I said, that's it. And she was using it and using it so comfortably, even more than me. I said, that's it. The way children are born up this day. But then, Madam Kuma, wanted to find out, you are like a parent. I don't want you to talk like a teacher. I want you to talk like a parent that you are. What are some of these challenges that us parents that we go through when it comes to maintaining? Because if you listen to what Mr. Ngangwa was saying, the education, the upbringing of the child takes place in two phases. There's the formal and the informal.
Sure.
The informal, we parents, we are responsible for in the families. Now, what are some of these challenges that we parents that we face? Because like you rightly put it, when holidays is coming, it is a kind of a nightmare. You know, we are thinking of a period that these children will be in the house every day. You talk out, you are long, and you are unable to even. I was asking myself how teachers even do in school. Now, what are some of these challenges that we parents face when it comes to taking care of children, especially during this period, in a complex environment? like Douala?
I want to say that the first problem that we have is the problem of containing them, containing their noise. I want to talk about parents who have toddlers, because we have parents in groups. There are parents who don't have toddlers. They don't have this issue. They have the issue of how to occupy them. And probably parents who have adolescents have the issue of tying them down to what they have to do. You know, when children get into puberty and finally to adolescence,
it's
and
a very challenging moment.
It is challenging. You are working that your words should be taken into consideration, and sometimes they will not talk and they leave.
Just like they are
say,
rebellious.
Okay, before you go out, I understand that you want to play football, but please just put order in the house before you go, and before you leave your room and come back, he has gone, and the house is just like that. So with parents who have young children between I would say 0 to about 12, they have this problem of containing the noise and the talking. This person has beaten the other person, this other one has beaten the other one. We have the issue of feeding. I'm talking about the average parent. Most of them don't have farms. But we used to send them to the village because it's time to harvest corn, beans, potatoes, groundnuts. They are there and they eat all the forms of corn.
And
come back change.
It's also part of education.
And it's also part.
Children, permit me.
Yes.
The children in cities that don't know how Irish potatoes
it grows.
They think maybe it's harvested from a tree.
Yes. So we have the challenge of feeding them, and taking care of those needs. But parents that are well off, they don't have that issue. We equally have the challenge of letting them alone in the house. For parents who do not go out, for parents who go out even during the holidays. I want to take, for example, journalists that like you are.
Yes.
Your leave may not.
Holidays.
Your yearly leave may not
coincide with holidays.
Yes, may not coincide with, and you have to leave.
Exactly.
And if you have husband and wife living, it is challenging. Because if you have sons like I do, when you're not there, there is fighting. There is constant fighting.
You spoke about the remote control. There is home on Saturday.
Yes,
cry out,
yes.
Don't touch this. Don't touch.
Don't touch. We equally talk about the neighborhood where they grow up. You have the issue of protecting them from the scavengers, from the vultures that are around. You know, it is true the girl child is very important, but you know, even the boy child now is vulnerable. The boy child, yes, the boy child is equally vulnerable. Protecting them from road accidents, you don't know to which extent they will play. You don't know what. So that's the stress that the parent has when the child is coming back, and hoping that the child doesn't fall sick, because if in the process the child falls sick, the stress that goes with it is not easy. So those are the challenges but I think that somebody says that we do our own. Those of us who believe in the existence of a supreme being that is God, we hope that God is equally doing his own on those children, because at the end of the day you say, oh God, what happened? How could they just go like that without look at what is you just say it can only be God.
Yes.
Those who believe in God and those who are Christians, I think holiday is equally a place to get your children busy in church activities. The church should create activities. We talked of communities. If the government cannot do it, the church can create activities where they involve the youth, the children, in competition, Bible study, singing, dancing. I think parents should know that dancing is not an underpaid job now. People can, as a teacher, if I want to get a visa to the white man's land, it will be difficult. But if I say I'm a traditional dancer, they will quickly invite me, and I'll make myself some money. I have the skill, I have the talent, I have the knowledge, and I have the skill. So it is important. Dancing, it's not an under skill. Painting, singing, and even talents in acting. in talents in it is those are skills that children, you actually relax without stress, and it helps you just see the time passing. But as I said, we parents have to be very close to the children. We have to be very close to the children during the holidays when they are with us. We should not take them when they are on holiday. We leave, okay, for the fathers, they leave and come back. Instead of 7 o'clock, they come back at 9 o'clock. When they know that at least 3 have gone to bed. Yes. When they come, okay, where are they? They are sleeping. Okay,
you just go and
sleep quietly. Yes. And you make sure that before they get up, before breakfast, you are up. Even if you are roaming out there, no. The times are changing. There are a lot of silly things happening out there. Those children they should have a solid background in their homes, so that when they are knocked out there, they should rush back home for support. And the holiday is the only period where you can have with them 24/7. You should have with them. You should be able to tell your son that, look, if you don't want to work hard, know that tomorrow you'll not be able to have a girl that will call you his man, or the young girl. Please, this is not in this our days. We don't have the Nigerian film men who are driving in luxurious cars. You have to work and buy your own luxurious car.
Yes.
So it's a time for you to actually go closer. Mr. Benashos, I want to say that the parents who have younger children don't even have the challenges that the parents who have older children face. The younger children, we have the basic, let them eat, occupy them. They just flow. Okay, today we are doing this.
We'll do what you want.
Do whatever. But when they start growing, discovering their personality, discovering the world, listening, that is the highest moment where you have to be with them. As you said, a parent at the end of the day, how was the day? How did you went out? How was it? Okay, this is how my day was. Some parents don't even communicate because their own parents did not communicate. But it is high time they break the barriers of silence and build a bridge of communication. And when communication flows, you just look at your child and he knows that, okay, this one is telling me to do this and do that.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's actually time to create the connection with the children.
Okay.
To create the connection.
Holiday period. Yes. I wanted to bring Mr. Leonard. How much contribution should our relatives come? Let's bring our relatives into this scene. How much contribution should our relatives, our brothers, our sisters? Manamgum was saying you can take them to a distant relation. How much contribution can we bring them in to make sure that they help in keeping these children busy? Because at one point I was feeling that before my mother passed on, I was feeling a time when my children went there for holidays and come back, and nearly they don't know my son again. Because at home the mother you don't shout at the child. No, you don't shout at him, and he will tell you that grandma did not do this to me. And so how much do you bring in your relatives, your parents into this? Because after all, you are the first, like they say, the first guide of these children. How much contribution do our brothers, our parents have in taking care of these children during this holiday period?
I think we cannot undermine their own contribution on our children. Why? Because we know that our society has impact on our own children as well as our relatives. However, taking them to our relatives, it will surprise you to know that there are children that don't know their relatives. And so we'll be doing a serious harm. Don't be surprised tomorrow that
children who don't know their relatives.
Yes, exactly. Why? Because they have grown up in town. They have not been to their cousins. They have not assembled with grandma. They have not heard stories that were told in ancient days.
Exactly.
And so, in as much as we allow the influence is there, we cannot refuse it, because they have to socialize. And when they socialize, they are not only going to pick up the good aspect. Know also that as a parent, as you're imposing the good characters in them, there are also some that the society is imposing and you cannot do without it. Or you cannot stop them from it. You only ask God for the grace to help you prune them out. So that this holiday period, I think, is absolutely necessary that our relatives also get involved in knowing our children. That's relation, and we know we are in Africa. Your relation is not only with your father, mother. No, we are not into that. We have extended families, and some are from big compounds that when they close during holidays, you need to allow them go back to that big
to know who is who.
To know who is who.
Yes.
And when they go there, they mingle with children of other relatives. Big compound in those days, you can bear with me that people come from, even some that are not members from the big compound, they come during these holidays.
We had a situation in Douala here where a young man and a woman met and were planning marriage, and to discover that they are from the same compound
they are
back
from
in
the
the
same
village.
compound. Imagine that during these holidays, if it was back in those days where the environment is safe, you all send them to the big compound. They know their grandfather, they know their grandmother, they know their extended relatives.
Aunts.
Yes, their aunts. However, when they go like that, there are also some things that when they come back, we have to prune.
Exactly.
So it is a matter of external lessons that they learn, internal lessons that they learn, and the parent now is there as the real person to prune some of those threats out. It's going to be painful, but we cannot there keep our relatives out of the tax. Some of them we may have to invite them to come to our homes. It's in Douala. We may have to add a square meal per day. It's true. But we know some of those trusted family members that we can say to an extent that please come and live with me in the house. They give us assistance. We cannot cancel that.
That is it.
There are a lot of assistance we have received from them. And so if you are growing up in a family and you don't have such uncles, such sisters that you can comfortably take your children and send to them, I think there is something we are missing out here in the African context, because we are into large families. There are some of my relatives that only saw me and identify me because they know my elder brother, because they have been in the same family compound. I've never been there. I'm also crying that I've not really experienced that much. But it's a limitation as far as parenting is concerned. We need to bring our family members to live with us. We have to incur the cost, but I think it's absolutely necessary for the upbringing of our children, as well as allow our children go out, experience other family members, how they do in their own homes. When they come back, they learn to appreciate what you're doing much better as a parent. They'll say that, we went here like that, this is how life obtained. But it was necessary that they go there for their training. And they were just going maybe for leisure, for sightseeing, but there are lessons that have been taught. If not formally, there are things that children have already, they only observe. But coming back now to you, as like Madam was regularly saying, that connection needs to come back, and then you begin to prune some. Even though you saw this one there, this is how it is supposed to be done. We accept that our family members, most of them, they may not be believers. Most of them, they may not hold the same ideology like us, but they are our relatives. So in that aspect now, their contribution to on the children is enormous, and we cannot do without, because our children needs to know who is who in the family. And during this period, I'm sure it's just the best period. Let's take them to family meetings. Exactly. We have family meetings. It holds in Douala.
Yes.
Why not? You only go there alone. Some of the parents, when it is Sunday like that, they sneak out of the house to family meeting. Come on, it's not good. Take your children to the family meeting where you eat that kati, drink sha, and drink palm wine. Let your children know that this is your culture.
Yes.
This is what we drink. And when they go there, they meet their relatives, and traits, characters are being transformed within that aspect, to the extent of how it should be done. That is when now you as a parent, now you need to be coming in and weighing some of the things, pruning them out, so that it will not be wild children like my brother Gabriel was mentioning.
Thank you so much, Mr. Njeba. You were speaking, I was thinking of a scenario. We had our own not family meeting, it was village meeting, and you would be surprised that they were speaking in English until one man came from the village and insulted us terribly. That can you be in your family meeting, in your village meeting, and speaking in English?
You don't let it insult. They should fine you. They need to give you a fine.
He even threatened that he would take it to the general, meeting back in the village. That we are supposed to speak in Lamso there. And so that our children can learn, for those of them who cannot go to the village. That is something good that we need to let those who cannot go to the village. We have village meetings that take place here in Douala, and I think it's a challenge for us, some of us, that we need to go along with our children. Let a child go and get what is the anyway. But now I want to come back to Mr. Gabriel. You are a teacher. You started indicating to parents that you are a professional. Let these parents allow you do your work of identifying the hidden talents in your children. Now talk to these parents. Let them understand how they should use this period as a teacher to complete what you started, what you have been doing for the past 9 months.
Thank you so much, Mr. Venatius. I still repeat, what we've done for 9 months can be ruined in 3 months. Yes, because children, some children have what we call limited attention span. Yes, when they learn, they easily forget. It's just normal. And that is why we are fighting hard, so that they will not forget what they've learned for the past years. So that when schools resume again, come September, they will start becoming a problem. It's unfortunate that when schools resume, every September, it's always a nightmare in school. Because when
for you teachers,
yes,
to bring back the children, recollect,
yes,
to know that we are now back in school,
to reintegrate them. You just get to know who, I mean, from the students' attitudes, you just know how they are. I can tell this child like this, your parents is not serious. This one, your parents is not serious. This one, your parents are not serious. Because when they come back,
yes,
the way they comport, their comportment in school is different. It shows that
so according to you people teachers, I don't know whether Madam
no,
shares the
I'm
same
not
opinion.
parents.
So we parents,
go
on, please, go on.
Yes. What I'm saying is, please let us be careful.
Yes.
Children learn a lot from what they see us doing. As parents, if you're a clubbing type, be careful. Because children learn a lot from you. When they come back,
bring the club to your house.
Bring the club to your house.
Of course.
Yes.
And make it lively. And fun.
And then it is controlled.
Yes.
Yes.
Make it lively and fun filled, because we cannot pretend. There are times that we hide a lot of things to our children and then we spoil them.
And they end up learning the wrong way.
Yes. Which is not good. It's not good. So there are times that when children come back to school, just the type of things they do on the first day, before we try to reintegrate them, bring them back to the school environment, I mean instill, or should I say reinstill, that sense of belonging to them, to understand that they're in a different environment is difficult. Because those that were just moving around with their parents in different kinds of odd environments, being exposed to different kinds of activities that are very odd. You see, even the type of songs they sing in school, you understand. So please, my dear parents, should I say co-parents, because I'm also one. Yes, I also guide other people's children, even under me. Let us understand that these children like this, under our custody, are our responsibility, and God is watching at us. If you lay a wrong foundation for somebody's child, I don't think it will be well with you, because there are a lot of things that we are going through today. There are a lot of things that are affecting me today that I learned when I was small. Let me give you just a very little example. My teacher taught me something wrong about the sounds of the alphabet, the vowel sounds.
Yes.
That affected me right up to secondary education. And before it could ever change, it was a problem. I kept arguing everybody. How can you say e, I, O, U? No, to me it was a problem, because I know it was A. Why? That's what I was taught. So when you teach somebody something at a tender age, you have to be very careful. And the things that children learn when they are small, at home, in school, in the community, in church, wherever, you have to be very careful, because those things stick in their minds. They store those things in their subconscious. One of my mentors, Pat Tange, told me something in Bafut I cannot forget. Some 7 years ago, somewhere around Agiati, I can still remember that anything you do around a child, you should be careful.
I think I live that area.
I think madam is smiling.
Yes.
I can also speak in Abela, madam.
Yes.
Yes, Patangi said, anything you do beside a child, be careful, because the child stores it in the subconscious, and those things resurface even after a long time in the future. It's very true. There are some things, all of us, we are grown up, we can attest to this. There are some things that we see today and they resurface in our minds, things that we learned long ago. So be careful, please. If you spoil these children, God will not allow you. Yes, God will not allow you.
Thank you so much. Okay, let's come back to Madam Gum. Now, as a teacher, you were talking to your children, to your students, when they were to go on holidays. You want to hand over these children to the parents. What advice did you give your children or your students as they are about to go home? Because you remember, my son is in nursery 2, the last one, and she was saying, no, Papa, my madam said that. So to them, Madam said that. Madam is a high authority. What Madam says is difficult, like he is saying, to tilt away from, What advice did you give them as they are going home? They will be away from you for the next 3 months. They will be with their parents. And if they deform them, like he is saying, we deform them, they will come back, you will be the one to suffer. Yeah. So what advice do you give these children? They are about, on holidays. You are speaking now to every other children who is watching.
Well, I want to... my dear students, I always tell you that it is important to build yourself a personality when you are young. The holiday is a period for you to learn things that you don't have to learn while you are in school. The little things, how to patch a dress. That is the time that you have a time. Take a cloth, an old cloth, and buy a needle. It costs 25 francs. A thread costs 100 francs. Try to cut it with the scissors and try to create something. It costs actually nothing. Dear students, I used to tell you that when you obey your parents, you have a better future. You have a stress-free future. Meaning there are things that you will not have to suffer because you did not learn while you were a young child or when you were growing up. This holiday is a period for you to discover your parents, to spend quality time with your parents. Some of you don't even know how to cook. I know that the boys will tell me that, Madam, you're talking to the girls. A boy and a girl, everybody should learn how to cook. This is the time to try some of the recipes that you learned in school and you did not have time to try it. This is the time for you to teach your mother that you are already grown up. You help her in chores. Teach her how to clean the house. Maybe your mother will not even have the time. Take some time, clean your house. Take some time, put your room, tune your room to the standards of the young girl that you have. For the little ones, listen to mama, listen to papa, because it is very important for you. Do not go to neighbor's house if you have not been given the permission to. It is very important. You don't visit anyhow. You should go where you see your parents going. If you are not allowed to go there, do not go there. Do not make friends with children without your parents' permission. Do not receive gifts from neighbors and consume them without presenting it to your parents. And for the bigger youths, those in upper seats who are writing the exams, I know that you are not yet done. In 1 week you will be done. When you go back, don't be too excited. Sit and prepare for next year, for those who make it. Some of you have reached the age for registration to register in the electoral list. Mm-hmm. Let this year be your first year that you decide on what will be of your future. Go tell your parents to make you an identity card. Go and register. Most especially the university students. From statistics, it shows that from 20 to 25, we have just about 20% of persons registered. It is a responsibility for you this month before they convene the electoral process. It is your responsibility to take this period and get registered and convince your friends to register, because we are fighting for your own better Cameroon. We have had our own share of the Cameroon. We are fighting for your own share.
Rough as it was.
Rough as it was, and yes. we are fighting for your own Cameroon. Vinashos, I want to tell you something. Teachers have an impact on children. Mm-hmm. I lost my 2 kids got lost 2 months ago.
Lost as in?
I live in an open compound, mm-hmm. and children play in the yard, and they go and play in their neighbors with other little kids. I came back from work and I was tired. I started resting. I said, where is Rene? They say he's playing up. Where is Rene? He is playing down. Where is Job? He is playing with Rene. The children had gone out of the quarter. They got lost in another quarter besides. I don't even go there. Mm-hmm. I've never taken them there. And somebody found them, the bigger and the small one. They're 4 and 2 years. Mm-hmm. Where are you people going to? They said we were strolling, we were following our friends. And where is your house? They got into a small pothole. And what's the name of your mother? The child cannot talk. Where do you attend school? Tradex. What's the name of your teacher, Madame Majwa? That's how the parent asking was a parent who was a child in Tradex. And he immediately met another teacher who snapped my children, and they sent to their teachers forum that, can you recognize this child? The teacher said, yes, I know the child. This is this child. I know where the child lives. The teacher has to leave where she was and took the child, and I was sitting there comfortably in the house, knowing that my children were playing. When it was about 6, I said, okay, you people should come and take a bath. I saw them carrying my children and people following that, madam, we met your child there. Just to tell you that there is an impact that the teacher, especially from nursery to primary, creates in the child. And I think that parents should continue. Parents should not give the impression that the teacher is not worthy, the teacher is not. It should be a continuation. That after the 3 months, the teachers take, and because at that time my son could not give my name. He knows my name, he knows his father's name, he knows things, but the only thing that could come to, he said, was, I go to school. It's a pre-nursery student. His school and his teacher. And because of that, I want to use that opportunity to say kudos to those teachers in nursery school, in primary school, and to beg the parents that when you receive these children from holiday, just continue. Even if the child says something that the madam said it and it was not correct, you have a way to twist it. You don't just tell the child that the madam is wrong. He does not take it at the same level like the child probably in the university who has an open mind.
Okay.
It becomes something.
Thank you so much, madam. And we need to let the parents understand that we need to keep that contact between the parents and the teachers. My child is no longer in nursery 2. He's graduating to class 1, but I still have the contact of the class teacher. They are still in that very forum. Imagine if you were not in a forum, maybe they might not have discovered where to trace out. So we want to let parents understand that we need to keep that contact with the teachers of our children, because for the whole year they are with the children for 9 months, and 3 months we are barely surviving with them, and we need to keep Now I want to take Mr. Njeba Leonard Yengong. Very soon we are going out of the studio, and before we leave, we are talking about containing our children during holiday period. We want to look at the hour of horn. Can you tell us about that? That may be another opportunity to help keep children busy.
Thank you very much. Hour of Horn is a vision that God laid in my heart. And growing up as
I'm now speaking to Njeba Sachs.
Njeba Sachs.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
So growing up as an orphan, I had this burden. I realized that there are challenges that my mother was going through. And when you present any problem to her, she may not actually handle it, but she will go back to her room and she will feel pains, until I stood at the window one day and I was observing. I was like, so this woman is going through a lot. And so with that now, I've always had this heavy burden for orphans and widows. So Hour of Horns is an annual musical concert that we gather together instrumentally. Some will be coming from Baminda, some will be coming from Limbe. That we gather together, especially those who play wind instrument, saxophone, trumpet, flute, and so we'll gather together, we play, and the people, they call it farote, what people will support us with. We will use that for the amounts and reach out to the widows back in the village, precisely in Jifo. And so for the past 2 years, we've had this program, and we attended to around maximum 100 widows back there in the village. And it's always a euphoria time where we gather, and then when we carry out this activity, it's usually at the Trinity Baptist Church Mbopi, beside the Buka Voyage. This year it will be this month, June 22nd, from 4 p.m. So it's a time where we gather, we play, we worship. Many people come and even discover some instrument that they have never seen physically. And so some also develop interest in learning instrument. We'll also be training children in playing piano, saxophone, bass guitar, and some basic musical instruments. So I'm inviting and calling on the population here in Douala present, even out of Douala, to join us on the 22nd of June at 4 p.m. at Trinity Baptist Church, Mbopi.
Free of charge.
Free of charge, no tickets, sir.
Yes.
Thank you very much. I'm sure.
Any word for 1 or 2 persons that are about going?
Thank you very much. I want to greet my father, my music mentor, Mr. Kwasi Godwin, and my pastor who gave me the permission to be running this instrument, Reverend Fusas James, and Pastor Chambali Ezekiel. Thank you very much, and happy Pentecost Sunday once more. And my co-panelists, happy Pentecost Sunday.
Thank you so much, sir. Mr. Gabriel, we are about leaving the studio. Okay. Yes, a word of thanks to those who are watching us out there.
Thank you, Mr. Venatius. I want to once again thank all those that are following DBS television. I want to greet in a very special way my co-panelists, Madam Gum and Mr. Njeba, and to the education family of Vocational Institute of Bright for Health and Community Empowerment. I want to say kudos to all of you, the staff and the students. May we hold it tight and stay focused for a more vibrant academic year. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Madam Gum, we are about going. I know that your children should be watching now from the village.
Yes, I miss you, but it is important for you to be there.
Exactly.
But before I go, I cannot leave. It is holiday, yes, but something is coming up this year. Dear Cameroonians, it is the registration will be getting off very soon. Go and register for the electoral list.
Mm-hmm.
And make sure before you go, you carry somebody along. Together, let us write a new story for this country. As you enjoy your holidays, take care, be careful, stay away from trouble. Stay closer to your children, give them love so that when you grow old, they give you back the love. Thank you very much.
I wish
to thank everybody in the studio, my brothers. I call them my co-panelists, the presenter.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you.
And the house for accepting us to
share your views.
To share our views.
Yes.
My party comrades, my colleagues in Collège Atu, my girls, I greet you all. My colleagues in GBHS Nyala, I greet you all. In fact, I love you all, my dear Cameroonians.
Thank you so much. That is how we saw it in this edition of This Week in the News. And if you did not follow us from the beginning, a rebroadcast would be tomorrow at 10 p.m. You would have a full program, and it is equally was live on our Facebook handle DBS TV Official. Next week will be another opportunity for us to come back. We'll be here again with you. Take the appointment when it would be Sunday at exactly 12 noon. Until then, have a blessed week. Goodbye from all of us to all of you.